I started forgiving and letting go of the people who abused, betrayed, and traumatized me because holding on was burning me, not them. There's a version of you that God is trying to introduce to you, but as long as you keep carrying the weight of people who mishandled you, you'll miss the room He built with your name on the door. There's a future where you're lighter, freer, stronger, softer, and clearer, but you can't reach her while dragging the ghost of people who were only supposed to be lessons, not lifetimes. And I had to realize something painful. Forgiveness wasn't about setting them free. It was about removing their fingerprints from my future. For so long, I replayed scenes like a movie I didn't audition for. The betrayal, the manipulation, the emotional warfare. I kept hitting rewind. I kept analyzing. I kept rehearsing pain until it was my personality. I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I wasn't becoming the wound. I was becoming the betrayal. I was becoming the abandonment. Until one day, God whispered, "Daughter, you cannot heal from what you keep hosting." And that sentence, it shut me down. It shut me up. It stopped me right where I was because I realized I had built a whole emotional apartment complex and handed keys to people who didn't even deserve to stop by the parking lot of my life. So I decided, not overnight, not perfectly, but intentionally, to release the people who broke me, but will never be responsible for rebuilding me. I stopped waiting for apologies that were never coming. I stopped trying to understand people who didn't understand themselves. I stopped negotiating with trauma. I stopped identifying with the wound. I stopped trying to make sense of nonsense. And hear me, your healing is not rebellion, it's obedience. You're not disloyal for choosing peace. You're not dramatic for needing boundaries. You're not selfish for cutting ties that God Himself severed. Your peace is not weakness, it's warfare. And anybody who tried to guilt you back into a dungeon they built doesn't belong in the palace that God is preparing for you. Forgiveness? It's not permission for them to come back. It's permission for you to move forward. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Never. Letting go does not mean you weren't hurt. You were hurt very much. Letting go doesn't mean the pain didn't matter. God knows it did. It means you finally chose you over the history that tried to bury you. And let me tell you something I didn't expect. When I let go, I didn't lose anything. I gained myself. I gained my voice. I gained my emotional oxygen. I gained God's clarity. I gained nights of sleep I didn't even know I was missing. I gained a future that wasn't filtered through old pains. I gained a vision that wasn't cloudy from heartbreak. Because the truth is, you cannot receive with closed hands, and you cannot see clearly through wounded eyes. If nobody has told you this yet, you are allowed to walk away from what broke you without explaining your healing to anybody. Some people will never understand your healing journey because they benefited from your brokenness. Some people will never clap for your growth because your growth exposes their refusal to change. Some people will never apologize because accountability sounds like punishment to people who've never met the truth. And if you feel like God is pushing you to release something or someone, it's because He's about to replace it with what you actually deserved the whole time. Sometimes God has to pry your fingers off the familiar because the familiar was killing you quietly. Sometimes He delays the apology because He doesn't want your freedom attached to their maturity. Sometimes He lets them walk out because He needed to break the agreement you didn't even know your spirit had signed. Forgiveness doesn't make you weak. It makes you available. Available to peace, available to purpose, available to joy, available to the next level of you. You deserve to breathe. You deserve to rest. You deserve to heal without interruption. You deserve to step into your next chapter without dragging yesterday's characters. So if you're listening to this right now, if your spirit is tight, if your throat is thick, if your eyes are burning, it's because something in you knows it's time. Time to release what God has been trying to detach from you. Time to stop carrying people who never carried you. Time to stop bleeding for relationships that left you for dead. Time to stop holding on to memories you hate revisiting. It's time to forgive, not to set them free, but to finally set yourself free. Because forgiveness isn't for the people who hurt you. Forgiveness is for the woman you're becoming, and she's waiting. She's ready. So let's go meet her.